Hi, and welcome back to our Fallout 76 series. This is part 2, Dicking Around Welsh. But I must again, wait, that's not right. I must apologize once again that we do not in fact have any voiceover to go, like live voiceover with the game, because I forgot to record it because I'm retarded. And so, much like in part 1, I shall be reading Barack Obama's The Audacity of Hope, Reclaiming the American Dream. We are currently in Chapter 1, Republicans and Democrats, at page 19. And without further ado, let's get on with it. And then there was the small matter of the Swift boat veterans for truth. The shocking efficiency with which a few well-placed ads chance in conservative media to transform a decorated Vietnam War hero into a weak-kneed aspirant. No doubt there were Republicans who felt similarly. Perhaps it was time to put the old ways out. Both parties throw away their own animosities and ammunition. For a year or two at least, get down to governing the country. Maybe that would have been possible had the elections not been so close, or had the war in Iraq not been still raging, or had the advocacy groups, pundits, and all manner of media not stood to gain by stirring the pot. What the fuck? Maybe peace would have been broken out with a different kind of White House. When less committed to waging a perpetual campaign, a White House that would see a 51-48 victory, as well as a call to humility and a compromise rather than an irrefutable mandate. But whatever conditions might have been required for such a detente, they did not exist in 2005. There would be no concessions, no gestures of goodwill. Gestures of goodwill. It's confusing sentence. 2 days after the election, President Bush appeared before cameras and declared that he had political capital to spare and intended to use it. That same day, conservative activist, Grover Norquist, what a name, constrained by the decorum of public office, observed in connection with the Democrat situation that any farmer will tell you that certain animals run around and are unpleasant, but when they've been fixed, they are happy and sedate. 2 days after my swearing in, Congresswoman Stephanie Tubbs Jones, out of Cleveland, stood up in the House of Representatives to challenge the certification of Ohio electors. Citing the litany of voting irregularities that had taken place in the state on election day. Rank-and-file Republicans scowled, scored losers. I could hear a few mutter. But Speaker Hastert, Majority Leader DeLay, gazed stone-faced from the heights of the bay. It's spelled D-A-I-S. I don't know how you pronounce that. Placid in the knowledge that they had both the votes and the gavel. Senator Barbara Boxer of California agreed to sign the challenge when we returned to the Senate chamber. Wait, nope. And when we returned to the Senate chamber, I found myself casting my first vote, along with 73 of the 74 others voting that day, to install George W. Bush for a second term as President of the United States. I would get my first big batch of phone calls and negative mail after this vote. I called back some of my disgruntled Democrat supporters, assuring them that yes, I was familiar with the problems in Ohio, and yes, I thought an investigation was in order, but yes, I still believed George Bush had won the election. And no, as far as I could tell, I didn't think I had either sold out or been co-opted after a mere 2 days on the job. That same week, I happened to run into retiring Senator Zell Miller, The lean, sharp-eyed Georgia Democrat and NRA board member who had gone sour on the Democratic Party endorsed George Bush and delivered the blistering keynote address at the Republican National Convention. The no-holds-bar rant against the no-holds-bar rant against the perfidy of John Kerry and his supposed weakness on national security. Ours was a brief exchange filled with unspoken irony. The elderly Southerner on his way out, the young black Northerner on his way in. The contrast that the press had noted in our respective conventions. Speeches that much. Senator Miller was very gracious and wished me luck with my new job. Later, I would happen upon him an excerpt from his book, A Deficit of Decency, in which he called my speech at the convention one of the best he'd ever heard, before noting, with what I will imagine to be a sly smile, that it may not have been the most effective speech in terms of helping to win an election. In other words, my guy had lost, Zell Miller's guy had won. That was the hard, cold political reality. Everything else was just sentiment. And then there it comes, great, there it goes. My wife would tell you that by nature, I'm not somebody who gets real worked up about something. When I see Ann Coulter or Sean Hannity bang across the television screen, I find it hard to take them seriously. I assume that they must be saying what they do, primarily to boost book sales or ratings. Although I do wonder who would spend their precious evenings with such sourpuss. When Democrats rush up to me at events and insist that we live in the worst of political times, that a creeping fascism is closing and spreading around our throats, I mention the internment of Japanese Americans under FDR, the Alien and Sedition Acts under John Adams, or 100 years of lynching under several dozen administrators as having been possibly worse, and suggest we all take a deep breath. When people at dinner parties ask me how I can possibly operate in the current political environment with all the negative campaigning and personal attacks, I may mention Nelson Mandela, Alexander Solzhenitsyn, for some guy in a Chinese or Egyptian prison somewhere. In truth, being called names is not such a bad deal. Still, I am not immune to distress, and like most Americans, I find it hard to shake the feeling these days that our democracy has gone seriously awry. It's not simply that a gap exists between our professed ideals as a nation and the reality it exists every day. In one form or another, that gap has existed since America's birth. Wars have been fought, laws passed, systems reformed, unions organized, and protests staged to bring promise and practice into closer alignment. No, what's troubling is the gap between the magnitude of our challenges and the smallness of our politics. The ease with which we are distracted by the petty and trivial, our chronic avoidance of tough decisions, or seeming inability to build a working consensus to tackle any big problem. We know that, let's see what's going on in the gameplay. Let's just take a look. At this point, I heard some guy grumbling, I think. Maybe I had killed. Yeah, you can see him grumbling there. Hear him. Good thing. Didn't know where he was. It's right here, pushed up at the desk. Yeah, right there. That's it. There's a nice little pipe there. Yeah, I took a look at the combat shotgun. Is it worth it? I'm gonna pick it up anyways, just to scrap it. But yeah, you might have seen it there just for a second. My 50 cal up top. Oh, that's my pride and joy. Oh boy. No, anyways, back to the book. Where was I? Oh, there we go. That's where I went. Okay. You know that global competition, not to mention any genuine commitment to the values of equal opportunity and upward mobility, requires us to revamp our educational systems from top to bottom. Your parents are teaching core buckled down on math and science instruction, and rescue inner-city kids from illiteracy. And yet our debate on education seems stuck between those who want to dismantle the public school system and those who would defend an indefensible status quo. Between those who say money makes no difference in education and those who want more money without any demonstration that it will be put to good use. I don't know. I get that really beautiful. I don't look over this, but I just read it so you go. We know that our healthcare system is broken, wildly expensive, terribly inefficient, and poorly adapted to an economy no longer built on lifetime employment. A system that exposes hardworking Americans to chronic insecurity and possible destitution. Year after year, ideology and political gamemanship result in inaction, except for 2003, when we got a prescription drug bill that somehow managed to combine the worst aspects of public and private sectors, price gouging and bureaucratic confusion, gaps in coverage, and an eye-popping bill for taxpayers. We know that the battle against international terrorism is at once an armed struggle and a contest of ideas, that our long-term security depends on both a judicious projection of military power and an increased cooperation with other nations, and that addressing the problems of global poverty and failed states is vital to our nation's interest rather than just a matter of charity. Befall most of our foreign policy debates, and you might believe that we only have two choices: belligerence or isolationism. We think of faith as a source of comfort and understanding, but find our expressions of faith sowing division. We believe ourselves to be a tolerant people, even as racial, religious, and cultural tensions roil the landscape. Also, I am just tapping my foot with a broken protractor. You can hear me breaking at the first part. I'm not, in fact, beating my feet while reading this book. Let's see. What's happening in the gameplay? Where was that? Yeah, there we go. There. Let's see what's going on. Yep, and just dicking around in Welsh, not really getting anything done. Just kind of scrapping shit. Yeah, scrap all your junk. Oh, there's an important tip in Fallout. Like, hey, let's see if this is but like, you used to be able just to store your junk in your workshops for crafting and stuff in Fallout 4. Now junk weighs a lot, and you only have 400 pounds of storage. But if you break down your junk, if you go to any workshop those like cooking stations, if you can see scrap items, break down all your junk. It's like a prompt. It gives you a prompt to prescribe scrap all junk. It's like 1/10 the weight or something. So you basically, that's why at first you may be like, oh shit, I'm running out of space right now. Nope, you'll take out your junk and scrap it. Or it'll break down the component parts and weigh it like that. So yeah, make sure you're doing that. And also don't hang on to guns early on unless they're like unique. Even if they're just like a cool 10mm that you like, there's gonna be a better one. And also it's not fucking hanging on. It's not worth, basically in this, like in other, I don't know what I'm talking about this. In other Fallout games, you just pick up every type of situation, 10mm, 9mm, 357 revolver. That's not the case. In this, you choose like 2 or 3 weapons that you like, and you, that's what you should do early on. 2 or 3 weapons that you like. Maybe like a pistol and a rifle and a some sort of melee weapon. Choose that. Like choose those those types of weapons. Like just 2 or 3, and don't carry the rest. Just scrap them at workbenches. Because you don't have a lot of storage for this. The only thing I recommend storing is stored power armor chassis. And that's what the piece is on it. I'll be doing a tutorial about power armor and how to push it out, kind of, and match it. Doing a tutorial on how to put power armor pieces, even though you can't technically interact with them. Then, P60 or P1, what have you, if you're not high enough level. We're doing a tutorial on that, but yeah. Just basically, so much of this gameplay so far was just me trying to figure out storage and fucking scrapping stuff, so I was trying to figure stuff out. But yeah. Anyways, get back to the book. I think once I finish this chapter, I'll just do commentary on the gameplay. Jesus Christ, right? I'll scratch that. This chapter is Holy God. So I've read about 9 pages so far. There's 20 more to go. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep reading. I might not do the next part. I might find a good stop for the next part. Anyways, kind of interested. Actually, this book, it's just a random one I pulled out of the attic. Barack Obama, you know, because memes. Why not? What is it? I don't necessarily believe. This is not necessarily my beliefs. I'm just reading it because this is a god-awful channel, and I forgot to put voiceover audio. So this is what you're getting instead. Fun, right? Also, I don't know if you can hear any of this really. Doesn't look like it. I'm gonna check on that. Hi, so yeah, I had some headphones in, and I just realized that iMovie was literally picking up fucking like none of that. So I'm gonna try turning that up to 16 times as loud. See if you can hear it. Nah, we'll see what it's like in post. But here I am again, about a minute later from where it actually was, and I can't be arsed to go back and reread the book, so at this point I'm just going to comment on what the fuck's happening in the video game. Just a whole lot of nothing by the looks of it. Yeah. Me kind of wandering around. You know, I'm going to mess with system preferences a bit, see if I can turn up my input volume. Hello? Loud! There we go. It's too loud. It's way too loud. Jeez. Okay, we're gonna... Well, too bad. Anyways, yeah, so a little bit of a tip there. I should have picked up that purified water. What is it? In old games, you would pick up, like, I don't know, explosives were a good way to get some money early on, just selling a ton of those. Or selling, I don't know, ammo that you're not using. Say your guns build, you would sell energy weapon ammo, or say you just at a certain point in Fallout 4 you just start selling all your .38 or your 5mm or whatever. But in this you can't sell ammo back to vendors. You could try your luck at bargaining with another player, but it's not really going to happen in my experience. I don't know. But what is it? See, the best way I find to get some money is to pick up all the drugs you can find, like Psycho, Buff Out, because each of them are worth like 2 to 4 caps. They start being worth more later on, the more you level up your charisma and stuff. But yeah, they're a good way to get caps. Man, that's how I do it. I just pick up all the drugs and find. At this point, I was getting cocky with my endurance build because I had 3 levels of lead belly or iron something, meaning I could just it was lead belly. I can just eat stuff and drink stuff without taking any rad damage. It's a good perk, but the reason I got that was because I had perk cannibalism, which is just a 1 level perk. Can't do anything else with it. It's so I was like, oh, I don't have to worry about hunger, and then eventually I just stopped thinking about picking up stuff like that. And I started to wonder why, like, I'm like, oh, at a certain point in the game, you just start running out of stim packs. I started to realize that food items do a lot of your healing for you. So it's maybe not have like sugar bombs and shit on you. Maybe just like make sure you have like a good steak, like a good pile of meat in your inventory, because I ran out of stim packs and I was perpetually for the next few hours. Ooh, fuck with me. Look, using plasma stim packs here. Actually, I think I refuse to use one. So, what do I do on pins out? Yeah, I was eating blood packs and shit. Just carry around a pile of meat, even if you have your dunk candles. It's whatever. But yeah, and I eventually just kept running out of water because I kept forgetting to pick up food. Make sure you pick up any Nuka-Cola, Nuka-Cherry and stuff you find. It's great hydration, and it does get a free cap. But yeah, dude, it actually heals a lot of points of health as well. Check that out. Also, eventually, like another way to make money is by selling a bunch of your Rad-X diluted and Rad-Away diluted. You don't use Rad-Away or Rad-X enough to keep that much stuff in your inventory. It also takes up a lot of inventory space, so I would sell a bunch of that. Just to be safe, you can start with diluted stuff, and if you feel like you have enough, you can sell some of the other stuff. I had just Rad-Away and Rad-X, I sold them. I don't sell Stimpak diluted. I need that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. This was a tough gunfight because I was out of Stimpak, so I did not feel like I was running well. I didn't feel like. Also, careful. At a certain point, armor starts requiring, like a certain level, armor starts requiring ballistic fiber to repair. And nearly nothing in this game was supposed to get it. I always got confused with fiberglass. Fiberglass is in a good few objects, like cigar boxes, namely. But in this game, ballistic fiber, freaking nowhere. You know, maybe I thought, ooh, it's more important this time around because conditions and thing. Fallout 4, like one of the few sources of it, was military ammo bags, which just had a bunch of ballistic fiber. Yep, then 3 Stimpaks. Oh, destroyed my screen there for no reason. What is it? There's still nowhere to find ballistic fiber in this. Like, I found a military ammo bag at one point. It was like, ooh, it's impossible to find. Some armor mods will have it. I found I got 2 out of that. Oh, another important thing. Later on, if you want to craft specific ammo types for your weapons, I'll explain that next video. But yeah, let's come to the end of this video. This is I went around the Welsh. Originally came here because one of my quests. What was it? It was can't see it right now because I'm in advance. But this is the overseer, the personal matters. Find the next journal entry in Welsh. This is where the before this we had. I think I explained this just right then. Game before we went to her childhood home. Then we went to where the overseer went to high school. And we went to her college. And it's actually a pretty good storyline, pretty good voice acting. It's much more likable than any of the characters in Fallout 4. And now this is her house that what is it? She lived in with her husband. And I don't know, the holotape coming up in the next episode. So. Thanks very much for listening. This was part 2, Digging Around in Welsh, and I think I'll call part 3 Aimless Wandering, because I kind of ran out of quests. I didn't know what to do next. I decided to go to the top of the world, but it was just Aimless Wandering. So, thanks for watching Digging Around Welsh, part 2 of our Fallout 76 series. I'll see you next episode when we do Personal Matters. Thank you.